Hi everybody, Jake here. Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel if you're new. We're here with our second episode of our Wolfsburg series. Not only today will you get to see our team play for the first time in the first match of our Bundesliga season, but the thing you guys probably care about most, we've made transfers, we've spent money, we've sold players, and we've even signed a couple of Wonderkids. Hi everyone, Jake here, and as I mentioned at the start, we are here with Wolfsburg with our first game of the Bundesliga season. I'm very excited for it, very excited to see what we can do. I'm going to talk about not only our transfers, but how the tactics been going in pre-season. We've also had a cup match already where we've absolutely dominated. You can probably see in the top right already, 8-0. We are doing very well. We've signed a couple of players, sold a few as well. I say a couple, I think we signed a bit more than that, but we've really just made this team into potential, I don't want to say title challengers. I don't want to give us that pressure too early. But if I do go to the Bundesliga and go to season preview, where are we? Fifth. We're considered to come fifth, joint in terms of odds with Red Bull Leipzig, which they're a pretty good team, one that you consider up there. I don't think Hertha will be up there come the end of the season. I think we can certainly compete for them top spots, so I'm very excited for that. And I'm just super excited to get this series and this season underway. Before we get in and looking at it, I won't waste too much of your time, but I just want to ask you guys, if you could do exactly what you did in that first episode and show your support by hitting the like button. It really helps push these videos out to as many people as possible. I'm not just saying that, that's not just a tagline that I have to say. Genuinely, you can tell a massive difference when people like the video in terms of how many views and new viewers you get coming to the channel, coming to the series, which is always awesome because I want to get as many of you guys on board as possible. And with that being said, if you are on board and watching this video, why not hit that subscribe button? You can change your mind at any point and ring that notification bell so don't miss out on any of the uploads here on the channel. For any of you that are still here and listening to my waffle, if you want to drop Baku in the comments, that would be great. Or, you know, if you actually want to get involved with what's going on in the video, let me know what you think of our transfers and that kind of thing. Obviously, it all helps with the algorithm, but I also like getting involved with you guys. Feel free to join a Discord down below, and I just want to say thank you to the new people who have become channel members, the people who have clicked that join button. We've actually got someone on like the highest tier now, which is awesome. So eventually, when a youth tape comes in, he will have first pick of the youth and tape player to be named after him. It really does mean a lot, and it might mean that one day I can do this as a more regular thing. And to the people who are channel members, I'm going to get something sorted where at the end of every video, I have a list of you guys just saying thank you on a little like credit roll thing, just as another way to say thank you to you guys. But yeah, I'll shut up. Let's get into the video, and most of you are probably sitting there in front of your screen right now just waiting for me to show you the transfers, but I'm going to keep you waiting a little bit longer and firstly show you the schedule and how we've been doing in our pre-season. So here we go, our form in pre-season, and as you can tell, it's been very, very good. I don't manage the friendlies, I let the assistant manager take care of them, but I did manage the cup match. But we've been pretty much winning every game. The only game that we didn't win was an away match against Sandhausen, but it was 2 days after our match against Werder Bremen, which was a much more comparative test to the level that I want us to be at. And we beat them 2-0, we beat Leicester City 2-1, we beat Swansea 3-0 away, and then we went to Lok Leipzig in the German Cup, the first round, where basically I think a big team is always put against a minnow kind of team, just to give that team a bit of revenue. I think it's a really good thing in the German divisions. But what I think happened when I used to manage in here before in a different Football Manager save, basically you're always away in the first game against like a non-league side to basically give them some revenue and let people come down to the stadium and see some very good players. So you might have saw that a few of the scorers are new signings, but I'll talk about them a little bit later. We are playing Bochum today in the Bundesliga, and I think that should be a fairly easy match for us. I don't know where they're predicted to come, but I imagine it's probably not very high. 17th is the media prediction out of 18 in the Bundesliga, right? Yeah, so they're not expected to do very well. It's about as easy as the first game as we could have got, and I'm very excited to see what we can do with the new players that we've brought in. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the signings that we've made and how we've started our time here as Wolfsburg manager. There was a player there that we'll talk about in a second because he hasn't been bought in yet. But if I sort by a date of things that I've done in terms of sales and signings, here we go. We'll start off with a sales page. So firstly, we loaned out Felix Nemecha to Dynamo Dresden. He wanted a loan move. We were willing to give him one. A team came in for him. Dresden are in the second division out in Germany, and Nemecha has the talent to potentially be a squad player in the future. He just needs to improve, so we'll send him out there, see how he does, and reevaluate his place at the start of next season. We then sold Pavo Pervan for £200,000 to Wolfsburg AC out in Austria, I believe that is. Yeah, so the Austrian has left us. He was our third choice goalkeeper, and despite being a fairly decent one, he was just never going to get any game time, and any money and wages, more importantly, that I could take off the book, the better. We then sold Marvin Stefaniak for £325,000. He is a winger who's gone to St. Pauli, which kind of shows his level. Yes, he was half decent, but I think we'll take that money because he's been on loan. He's never really been a part of this Wolfsburg first team. We don't play wide players in our system either. He wasn't going to get much game time, only going to cause an issue, and of course frees up some more wages. Then we get into probably the biggest sale that we had, and that was Admir Mehmedi has left the club. He's a Swissman with plenty... A Swissman? A Swiss? A Swiss? A Swisser? We're going to... A man from Switzerland, a Swisser. Did I just try Swiss? He's a man from Switzerland. Do let me know in the comments which was the right one. And he's 30 years old with plenty of international experience. £1.7 million for him. He's been playing fairly consistently for Wolfsburg and was considered a very good player, but he wasn't going to play up front for us. We don't have wide players, and I don't think I was going to use him in that midfield. And he's getting on in age as well, so I thought, you know what, we'll let him leave. And then the other one was basically just a player who was out of contract, didn't want to sign, and the assistant manager recommended we get rid of him. So I was like, you know what, yeah, let's just let him go. But in terms of bringing players in, we actually did something. I did something. We made some signings, and I think there were some very good ones. We'll start off with where I signed my first player. And my first signing, going down in history as my first Wolfsburg signing, was Kasper Kozlowski. He's a Polish 17-year-old who we signed for 2.5 million. We signed him from Pognon Szczecin in the Polish First Division, and I think it's a great signing. Not only does he already have 5 international appearances at the age of 17, he's already valued at way higher than what we signed him for. He's a player that can already contribute to our team and has massive potential. Plenty of talk about this guy in real life too. He's a very good player. I even pretty much put the Polish divisions in our database just so I could sign him, because I figured at the start of my save he was going to be someone that could cause a big impact in our team, not just now but in a few years too. A great passer and definitely a good option when we're playing our diamond midfield formation, because he can kind of play anywhere in that diamond. The Pole joins us and I'm very excited for what he could potentially do in our team. Then we've brought in Yusuf Amin, a 17-year-old German, trying to lower the age of the squad a little bit. He is going to be our third choice attacking midfielder, I think. Probably won't play too much at all, maybe in the cup games. The idea really with this guy is to develop him in the youth team, either use him or sell him on in the future. But he does have some nice attributes for that position, a bit of potential to grow to. And in his first cup game for us, he scored a very good long shot. So fairly happy with him, but don't expect too much from him. That's more of a player to sell on in the future. But one signing that I was really happy with was this guy, Joris Gagnon. Now, I haven't watched any videos on the best free agents or anything in Football Manager this year, but I can imagine this guy must have been all over it. He's a 24-year-old Frenchman who has amazing defensive attributes, really good physicals, good mentals, and great technicals too for that defending department. Straight away valued at around £10 million once you bought him in. Doesn't cost too much on the wages. I don't know where he's came from. I actually didn't check. Sevilla he's apparently been at, and Rennes. I don't know how this guy's floating around as a free agent, but I thought, you know what, if we've got Benayoun, Brooks, McNulty and Lacroix at the back, I figured McNulty might not be ready for the team just yet. We'll have a little look at him later on, because I do think he's going to be a big player for us in the future. But I want 4 experienced centre-backs, and I think Joris definitely fills that spot. Maybe John Brooks will leave us, I don't know. I don't really want to get rid of him because of how important he is to the team's hierarchy. If it wasn't for that, I probably would consider letting him go. But for now, we've got Joris Gagnon as one of our central defenders. I don't know if I'm doing that last name right, but I'm giving it my best shot. Then I have spent a pretty significant portion of our transfer budget on Roberto Piccoli. He is considered a very good player in real life and both in Football Manager, and one of the best upcoming young Italian strikers. Was on loan at Spezia last year in the Serie A, did fine for them, but for £8.75 million we bring ourselves in a 20-year-old Italian striker who is very good physically, and we're working on his speed as well to make him like a physical beast. He's 6'3", good mentals and very good technicals. I think Weghorst is obviously going to be the starter in our team alongside the more quick-minded forward. But when we're looking at Weghorst, it's not replacement, but someone to come in from every now and then and a player with potential. I think Piccoli is a great understudy for Weghorst, and I think we're going to see a lot of him. I had him on in the cup game. I think Weghorst wasn't playing. I started him on the bench, and he scored a hat-trick in a very short amount of time. So Piccoli is definitely someone I'm very excited to bring in. For £9 million from Atalanta, I think it's a great bit of business. And then our final sign-in, there is actually one more to come in, which we'll talk about in a second. But my final player I bought in was Austrian 26-year-old Florian Grillitsch for about not Jack Grealish, Grillitsch. Yeah, let's go with that. He is going to be a big player for us. We bought him in for around £11 million. He's valued at more than that now, but he's been a staple of the Bundesliga for years, doing very well for Hoffenheim, and our scouts really rated him. He's going to play at the base of our midfield while Schägler is out, and then maybe once Schägler's fit, we'll see which one's better. I think Schägler will be, but we need someone. Schägler's out for about 9 months, and we do need someone to just hold down that base of the midfield on a regular basis, and I think Florian can do a great job there. Then finally, and we're almost done, but the last player that I've bought in is sorted. We're just waiting for it to kind of go over the line contract-wise, but it seemed like he wanted to join us, and that is Jeremy Boga of Sassuolo, who is going to be an attacking midfielder for us. He is very good, ex-Chelsea, very excited to see how he's going to impact our team. He's definitely going to be a starting player for us, I think, behind the strikers. As you can see, definitely using instalments on this one because we didn't have much in our budget left, but I figured, seeing as we're in the Champions League, we're going to have that money eventually anyway, so I'll put it on instalments. They were happy with it. 70 grand a week does make him one of our highest paid players, but I think he's going to be very good and will complete an excellent transfer window. The scouts thought the same thing as well, so very excited with Jeremy Boga to see how he gets on. If we quick pick the best 11 for this team without restriction, just to see what our best team is now in this formation, we're looking at Casteels in goal, Baku, Lacroix, Brooks and Roussillon at the back, a very strong defence. Grealish, Schegler, Arnold and Philip, which will likely be Boga once Boga comes in. Then we've got Weghorst and Waldschmidt up front there. Waldschmidt, someone that I'm very excited to use as well. Didn't realise how good he was until I started looking around the team a little bit more. There's still a couple of players who might end up leaving. You could argue Mbabu might be too good of a backup right back to have at this stage, and to get some money in for him right now with teams interested could be a good idea, although he was very, very good in his first game, and I'm not sure I'm ready to let him go, considering I haven't decided if Baku can be a midfielder for us, meaning Mbabu can come in, and that'll be great work for us there in terms of just making players work in our system without having to sign anyone. There's also plenty of injured players to come back who I imagine will get sold at some point. Paolo Ottavio is someone I want to look at. William is a player who, again, someone I want to look at but is injured for a long time. And we've just got a great squad all round. Very happy with it. McNulty does still have plenty of potential, and I'm sure he's going to be a big part of our team in the future. But I don't think this is exactly what I'd pick, but it's pretty much there. So I guess now I should probably pick my team for this first match of the season against Bochum. So Casteels will be in goal. Lacroix and Brooks, I think I'll go Beneu instead of Brooks, just because Beneu's 22, got a lot more room to grow. Brooks, I don't know how long he's going to be here. Grealish, yeah, he'll start in the midfield. Who is going to be our Carrillo? It was Astra Ranks in our cup game, but I'm not sure he's ready yet. I might put Baku in there and then let Mbabu play at right back. See how Baku gets on in the midfield. If we have a look as a Carrillo, is he a good... He's okay. It might be a bit of a waste of his talent, actually. We'll make it work for now. I think we'll make it work for now, yeah. Can Arnold play there, actually? Arnold would be in a 3.5 star player. Maybe we could... no, I'm just going to go for it. Baku's going to play there. Arnold, yeah, he can play in the midfield alongside Baku. Philip, I think he is our attacking midfielder at this stage. And then it's just a case of which strikers I pick. And I think Weghorst, he's got to start in a game like this. Piccoli should be on the bench, though. And Waldschmidt is fine. We did have Lucas Nemecha in that cup game and he did very well. So arguably, we should start him. I think we'll start with Nemecha. Yusuf Amin, he doesn't need to be on the bench. Kozlowski, I'd like to get a look at him in-game. Gerhardt, he's just a very versatile player who I think we'll keep around for his versatility. I don't think I need to have this guy in the team unless we've got an option to buy him. No, I'm not bothered about using a player on loan who arguably isn't that good, just for the sake of having him in on loan. If we're not going to buy him, we're going to be developing a player for an opposition team, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, we'll bring on Gagnon onto the bench to give us a defensive option. John Brooks isn't going to be in my squad for the first game of the season, and I'm actually going to go for Yusuf Amin, just so we can bring him on if we get the chance. So this is the team we're going for, a mixture of old faces and new faces. I say new faces, only Grealish is our new signing to start, but soon we'll have Boga in the team. I'm very sure that soon Kozlowski will be a big part. Astra Vrank should be in the team as well. Nemecha and Weghorst will hopefully make a great forward line, but if not, we've got Piccoli on the bench to change it all up. So with that being said, I hope you're all excited. I dragged that out for a long time without meaning to, but it is time for our first game as Wolfsburg manager in the Bundesliga, and hopefully it goes as well as that cup match. Sorry everyone, I just had to cut there because I thought the game was doing something weird then and it had actually glitched. It said that we had 2 people in the team who were on loan, which we didn't, so basically I just had to clear the squad and pick it all again. But it did mean that we've now got 2 extra sub spots, which is awesome. We can get everyone on the bench now. And there we go, get it pretty much back to what I wanted it. There's still a few players I'm going to sell, as I did mention, but yeah, I'm just interested to see what we could do. I think Gilavogi might be someone that we move on. I'm not sure he's ready to be a mainstay in our team at 31, 30, whatever his age was. Don't think it's worth keeping him around for too long if we're not going to use him once Schegler's back. Probably not at all. But he does offer cover at the minute, so we'll see how the transfer window goes, see how these young players perform. The likes of Kozlowski, aren't meant to be ready for the first team yet, but if they are, then that's great, because not only can we start a young player, but we can move the other players on and bring in some cash for our side. But here we go. Here's our first team sheet with Wolfsburg. I'm hoping we run riot here against Bochum with this system we're playing. This is cool as well. Sorry, I'm just setting up for this match, but looks to me as the Bundesliga's got its own little way of laying out the game, which is very cool. I do like to see that. You don't usually, yeah, there you go. It's the official like Bundesliga top left. I like that. Makes it feel a lot better. But here we go. Here's Baku. It's our first highlight after 2 minutes. I believe we're on key highlight, so the chances are that something could come good of this, but it doesn't look it, because I think Bochum are in. Don't tell me we're going to concede straight away after all the talk I've just given. We have done as well. I do like the little... I've never played in the Bundesliga for a couple of years now. I have a few years ago, but I like that little thing that came up. It was quite nicely animated at the bottom of the screen then. But I can't believe we've already conceded. The Krot and Berneu probably not working too well together there, leaving too much space and allowing an easy pass through the midfield. Hopefully that's just a one-off and we're going to dominate the rest of the match, because I'm very excited for this vertical tiki-taka. I think it could be great, but if we start like that, maybe not so much. It's actually not looking great for us. I mean, we should have run riot in that cup game, of course, but our pre-season matches went well too. So hopefully we can actually get our first shot on target under my management. But the fans won't be thinking too much of me right now. 2 minutes in and we've conceded. They probably already want me out. But that's a great ball forward from Lacroix to Mbabu, who we chose in the team today in that right back position ahead of Baku. And he hasn't scored. It's been a good save from the goalie, to be honest, but I feel like he had a lot of time there to potentially do better. Here is Arnold into the box. Obviously, we don't have near post corners because at the time of recording, they have patched it so that it's apparently not as effective. I don't know if that's true yet. I haven't played enough, but I also haven't put a near post corner tactic on because I don't want to just abuse it for the sake of getting goals. I also did the same thing in the Newcastle series, and even without abusing it, we still got plenty of goals from Nyanzu at near post, but we'll see what happens there. Not a good start for us though so far, although we are growing into the game a little bit, but not enough really. I mean, we're getting into half time and nothing's really gone our way so far, and Babu struggling for fitness. Baku not playing too well in the midfield. We're probably underutilising him. No one really having the best of games. And I mean, if we bring on the likes of Piccoli now and Kozlowski and suddenly we win the game, all of a sudden I'm looking at some of these older players and thinking, are we going to use you at all this season? I am disappointed in them. See, I'm so used to a gegenpress that changing out of it, I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I thought everything was going to go well after our pre-season. Now I'm not so confident, and Babu is going to come off, despite a very good game for us actually, but I just think he is causing a few positional issues for us. And then Gilavogi's a Carrillo will be 2.5 stars. Kozlowski isn't a Carrillo really. Gerhardt looks like he could do a good job of it. We'll see how we get on with that, and I think as well, Weghorst off for Piccoli. Piccoli's done nothing to mean that I shouldn't pick him after that cup game, so you know what, we'll give him 45 minutes. If he does better than Weghorst, all of a sudden we'll be considering who to use going forward. But I think long term Weghorst should be good. He was ranked in the Bundesliga, like in the little thing that comes up, as one of the chances of having a highest score award behind Lewandowski, of course, but he was up there with Haaland and Lewandowski probably after that, as meant to be one of the best goal scorers in the league. We'll see if that comes to fruition though. But here is Baku on the right after changing him into that position. It's into Nemecha, and Nemecha scores. It's his 4th goal of the season, but his first goal in the Bundesliga after a cup hat-trick. That's what we like to see straight after half-time. Baku playing brilliantly on the right-hand side, who I definitely believe is a right-back you could win a Champions League with. I've said that before. He's pace past the Bochum defender, hit it low. Really, the keeper should have got there, but Nemecha comes out and taps it into the empty net. Very happy with that. And all of a sudden, the second half is looking a lot better if we can just add an extra goal to it. I don't want to draw in this first game. I want to get a win. But so far, Philip is probably the other player who we might have to consider moving on from this. Not altogether, don't worry. We're not selling him after 60 minutes. But I think in this game, we might have to move him out for someone else. Our options are Waldschmidt maybe. Think he could make a good attacking midfielder. This is going to take a little bit longer than it will in later episodes, just because I'm still learning who will do good in which positions. But I think Waldschmidt realistically should be good there, and I'm hoping that they let us do 5 subs in the Bundesliga, which they do. That's great. But I'm not bringing off Arnold just yet. Actually, you know what? I will. Kasper Kozlowski can come on, and then that's pretty much that. I might take off Grealish for Gilavogi, but I don't see the point right now. Maybe we bring on Gagnon at the back, but again, it would just be for the case of doing it. I think we could, to be honest, bring in on for Bornau, sorry, who's on a yellow card. Let's go for that. You know, new signings are on the pitch. Hopefully we do a lot better. With 20 minutes to go, I'll go a little bit more attacking. We're not having enough highlights in my eyes just yet, but I suppose we are bonding as a team still. We're still getting used to the tactic, and that's what I'll think for now, because I do want this tactic to work. I've put a lot of effort into hopefully getting a nice diamond formation. We've sold our wide players already, but if we go and concede and lose 2-1 now, I'll be very annoyed. That was nowhere near, but for some reason Castile took an age to get up there. And now they have another chance. It's a long-range free kick. It's just wide of the post. There's going to be work to do here at Wolfsburg. We definitely haven't deserved the win. It looks like, based on the way the game's gone, a draw was even enough. We haven't done enough. There's going to be work to do, but I suppose that makes a good series, doesn't it? We're not winning straight off the bat. We've got to learn how to get this team ticking, learn which of the players are going to be the players that we need to use going forward, because that is a kind of game that we need to just storm and win if we want to do anything to keep up with Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund at the top of the league. It's only going to get harder. Roussillon, interest in him. Maybe we'll sell him. I didn't even notice him in that game, to be honest. Depends how much they offer for us. If they offer a fair amount of money, I won't rule it out, because then I can, reinvest that in someone probably better in the long term at least. So there you go, guys. Episode 2 of our Wolfsburg series is done. The first match, it hasn't all gone according to plan. The new signings are going to take a while to get into the team. We're trying to buy young to just sell on and also make the squad better in the long term. We didn't have too much money to work with, but we'll see how we get on with this team going forward. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Like the video if you did. If you know, let me know what I did wrong with the tactic, or let me know where we should have signed players, or if we signed in the right areas and we just need to wait it out. Let me know your thoughts down below, and hopefully I'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye.